Hello and welcome to this short video, What to Expect When Meeting with a Member of Congress or Their Staff. This program is part of the Congressional Management Foundation's Partnership for a More Perfect Union. We're proud that the Physician Assistant Education Association is a part of that effort, helping to build relationships, understanding, and better communications between citizens and Congress. This video will first examine the gap between perception and reality of Congress. It'll examine what members of Congress actually do with their time, the importance of congressional staff, and conclude with 10 tips when meeting with a member of Congress. There is a significant gap between the perception and reality of Congress. This is best demonstrated by two surveys that were taken in the last few years, one of the American public and one of the American Congress. In 2013, in a public opinion survey, citizens were asked the following: does your representative in Congress care what you think? Contrast that with the survey taken by the Congressional Management Foundation of members of Congress. When asked, please rank the most important aspects of your job. Only 16% of Americans would respond in the affirmative, Congress cares what I think. But when members of Congress were asked the most important aspect of their job, 95% said staying in touch with constituents. While Americans have a low opinion of Congress, we should remember this quote: democracy is the worst form of government, except for all those others that have been tried. Winston Churchill. So what do members of Congress actually do with their time? According to a survey of members of the House of Representatives, members in the House work on average 70 hours a week when their chamber is in session and 59 hours a week when they're out of session or in recess. The average number of daily meetings for a member of Congress is 13 meetings a day. Members of Congress typically start before dawn with some kind of meeting or event that they have to attend for their party or for fundraising. They often have committee hearings. They meet with many constituents throughout the day. They'll go to press conferences or other important meetings, and this is just their morning schedule. In the last 20 to 30 years, more members of Congress are choosing to keep their families in their district and travel back and forth frequently. 8 out of 10 members of Congress report that they travel back home more than 40 weekends a year. And even some don't rent apartments in Washington, D.C. and choose to sleep in their offices. While many Americans and pundits think many members of Congress spend a lot of their time raising money, a survey of members of the House of Representatives shows otherwise. According to the survey, House members reported that 35% of their time, the number one priority, is legislation or policy activities, such as voting or committee hearings. When back in the district, 32% of their time is spent on constituent services, with less time spent on political or campaign activities. Now let's look inside of the brain of a member of Congress. This big part of the brain wants to make a difference in the world. One of the myths that exist about Congress is they don't really care about constituents. But actually, members of Congress are type A personalities that want to understand policy issues, come up with solutions, and impose them on the rest of us. They also have this desire to please everyone. Remember, they're politicians. One member of Congress said once, "I think all members of Congress are middle children still trying to please their father." Another big part of their brain is their ego. If they don't have one when they come to Washington, one is issued to them. And they have a great ability to raise money. Now, experts in congressional minds will say this is not accurate, and that is correct. This is the brain of a freshman member of Congress. After they have been in Washington for some time, their ego gets a little bigger. Now, some of you may question, what is this little dot right in the middle of the brain? That's the part of their brain they spend thinking about your issue. Now let's look at the importance of congressional staff. The average number of staff members in a House office is 15 staff members. In the Senate, the average is 35, but some of the more populous states can have up to 75 staff members. The other thing that can be unnerving to a first-time visitor to Washington, D.C. is the youthfulness of congressional staff. The average age of a House legislative assistant is 27 years old. But keep in mind, Congress is the NFL of legislatures, and members of Congress get to hire the best and brightest. A freshman member of Congress with only 16 job openings can get over 1,000 resumes. The various titles you may encounter are Chief of Staff or Scheduler or Staff Assistant. But if you don't get to meet with your member of Congress, it's likely that you'll meet with a legislative director or legislative assistant. Now, what are 10 tips when meeting with a member of Congress or staff? The Congressional Management Foundation did a survey of congressional staff and asked how helpful would it be to include the following in a message or interaction with a member of Congress. 48% said a personal story related to the bill or issue. 74% said constituents' reasoning for supporting or opposing the bill or issue. And 77% said information about the impact the bill would have on the district or state. Based on that research and other research conducted by the Congressional Management Foundation, what are the 10 tips when meeting with members of Congress and staff? First, in advance of the meeting, be clear on the goal and what you hope to achieve from the meeting. Know who you're talking to. Conduct some research on the member of Congress. What issues are they interested in? What is their background or their profession prior to being elected to Congress? Know your issue and how it relates to the member of Congress. Connect the issue to the member's district or state in some tangible way. Keep it short. Most meetings with members of Congress in Washington last 15 minutes or less. So after a little small talk, try to deliver the message in the first 5 minutes and never go off message. That will destroy your credibility with the member of Congress or the staff member. The less paper, the better. It's better to send information via email or deliver electronically. Don't diss the help or the staff member involved or go over their head to a senior staff member. And follow up immediately within a few days. If the member of Congress or staffer doesn't give you a firm answer to an issue, it's okay to send a follow-up email 1 to 2 weeks after the meeting. And remember, your participation in the public policy process is important. Said another way, politics is too important to be left to the politicians. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like more information about the Congressional Management Foundation or the Partnership for a More Perfect Union, please visit our website at congressfoundation.org. And good luck with your advocacy efforts.